All right, I'm back with this video. Did I work on a secret Los Alamos Labs drug experiment? Now, it's kind of a good question. I'm not 100% entirely sure, but there's kind of some interesting clues to maybe if it did happen or not. But basically, it's kind of like a side story. If you like ever watch like Sean Atwood, he was like a big time drug dealer in New Mexico. And well, oh yeah, and Sammy the Bull Gavano's son or whatever was around that same time. Well, anyway, because I wanted to be a DJ or whatever. So one of the ways that I tried to, get into the club scene, there used to be this organization. It was like a national organization. It was called Party Smart. I don't even know if it still exists or not, but it was called Party Smart. And basically what their thing was, it was like a organization that was on the internet, at least. That's how I found out about it. I never heard about it at an actual like rave party. And they basically went around to raves and did a bunch of like kind of like Boy Scout like it was like they're like the rave Boy Scouts basically, right? Is an easy way to explain it. So basically what happened was I ended up becoming the vice president, I guess, of the New Mexico chapter of Party Smart when I was out there. And so I guess to start off with, first of all, I, contacted them through the internet, got in touch with the guy that was running it, and he was like, yeah, come out, or whatever. When you come out here, we'll meet up. I met up with him. He checked me out. He saw that I smoked trees or whatever, but he saw I didn't do like ecstasy or anything like that. And there was a bunch of other people in the organization, but they didn't do anything. I guess they were like connected in the rave scene or whatever, so they like knew everybody or whatever, but they didn't do anything. They would like show up at the meeting, just start like goofing off or whatever. So the guy that was in charge of it was a scientist that worked at Los Alamos Labs. So he was like 40 something years old. He was like a 40-year-old dude that was a scientist at Los Alamos Laboratory. Like, yeah, he was like a nuclear scientist. Because I remember when he used to pick me up, and I would have these like corny jokes. I would be like, yo man, like how do you guys blow up the nuclear bombs in that tiny little building there? Or I would be like, do you ever think about, running out in the field when they blow up one of the bombs, see if you turn into Incredible Hulk? I know they're horrible jokes. He's probably like, what the hell are you talking about, bro? But anyway, he was like this tall, like lanky white guy. Basically, if you imagine like Fat Boy Slim, he's like had like that same kind of like short spiky hair, and he wore like bright Hawaiian t-shirts, and he listened to that type of music too. He listened to that type of like Fat Boy Slim type of music. But he didn't do any drugs, right? And what our main thing was, at least the cover story, our cover story was that people were putting GHB, which if you don't know what GHB is, it's like one of the known like date R drugs, where it basically like makes you pass out. And so the cover story was that people were putting GHB in either instead of ecstasy, or they were mixing it in with ecstasy. But later on I found out that probably was like not even a profitable thing for them to do. But anyway, that was the cover story. So that was what got us into the club, right? And apparently in New Mexico, people were passing it. It was like, because basically what GHB does is, besides making you pass out, it stops you from sweating. So then it stops you from sweating, and you're at like a rave dancing, and so people were getting heat stroke. supposedly that's what was happening. That was the story. So apparently it was happening, because we would go to the rave, and it was either, there was either in Santa Fe or Albuquerque. And then we would set up a table, and he had this like kit. It was just like a chemical that you dropped a little drop onto the substance, and then it's kind of hard to explain. Basically, we would set up the table. We had a bunch of other stuff there, like flyers. Basically, we had flyers telling you what the negative effects of pretty much every drug you can take, like cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, trees, coke, heroin. And we just had all these flyers. I don't even know where he got the money to make all these flyers. Like, they were fully glossy, like postcard size flyers, and he had like boxes full of them. I'm like, I never thought about it then, but it's like, how do you get all the money for this? Like, make these glossy flyers, and they were handing them. We would hand them out, and we would hand out water, and like we would go around and like look and see if anyone needed water, basically, so they didn't pass out from heat stroke or whatever. And then we would sit at the table, and people would come into the room with their pills, and I would take an X-Acto knife and slice off like a little tiny, like the smallest possible amount, and then we would take that chemical. And I had to say this like disclaimer like every single time, I forgot it, but it was like, this test does not test for the purity of the substance, and it will only tell you if there is MDMA in there or not. And it also tested for like speed type drugs and heroin type drugs. But basically what it was we had this little vial with a dropper, like a medicine dropper, and depending on how much MDMA was in the pill, it would depend on what color it would change. So like if you drop the dropper on there and it turned kind of like gray, it would be like it's hard to explain. It was like, it would literally like, it was like a chemical like combustion thing, and it would release a little cloud of smoke. Like, this sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. It would release like this little tiny cloud of smoke, and it would either be like gray or black, or if it had speed in it, it would turn orange, and if it had coke in it, it would turn like kind of like red or something like that. And so people would bring their pills in, and I would do that, cut off the little slice, tell them, it doesn't really, can't tell you how much is in there, but I can tell you if it is or it isn't, basically. And that's basically what we did. People would just come in, bring their pill in, and then we would test it and then tell them if it had it in there or not, because that's what we were. And then basically I was doing the physical part of it, like doing the actual testing and saying that stupid disclaimer over and over and over again. But what he was doing, the scientist from Los Alamos Labs, was he was documenting and writing down and documenting each and every individual pill that people brought in. You know, the size, the shape, the imprint pattern on it, like whether it was like a Playboy bunnies or, you know, the 4-leaf clover imprint pattern or whatever. And I didn't think anything of it then. I just thought, you know, that's what he had to do, because basically the cops only allowed us to do it because people were getting heat stroke or whatever. So the cops would literally be standing right across from us, like on the other side of the room, watching us do it the whole time. And like, you know, I didn't do anything. I didn't even bring like trees with me or whatever when we were doing that. So they didn't have a problem with it, in the sense that, you know, they obviously saw that people were doing it and people were getting heat stroke, so they were kind of like, they weren't okay with it, but they were like, this is better than people dying from heat stroke, basically. So we would do that pretty much every weekend, whether the party was in Santa Fe or if it was in Albuquerque. All the bigger ones were in Albuquerque. And it was just me and him. And all the other people that were in the like organization, I mean, I hung out with them a couple times, like when we weren't at a party. And they were, you know, they were just regular kind of like raver kids or whatever. They all lived in one house together and they were pretty broke. But this guy, he was he was like seriously like a scientist at Los Alamos Labs. Like a nuclear technician or whatever, or nuclear physicist. I don't know what his actual job was, but that's what he did every weekend. Every weekend he went out and he tested e-pills and categorized them, and they had this whole book filled with like all the different like types and shapes and sizes and whatever. So it's obvious that's what he was doing. He was there, he was collecting scientific data. He was a Los Alamos Labs scientist, and he was at the rave collecting scientific data on the e-pills that everyone was taking. So I'm like, now thinking about it, I'm like, what the heck? You know, like he was like seriously, like he didn't do any drugs and he would just hang out there. And you know, I just kind of thought it was like, oh, well, he's just trying to hang out because it's like young chicks or whatever. Because that definitely was one of the perks of the job, if I can, no pun or whatever. But since we were sitting down at the table, you know, we were sitting down at like a folding table, and you know, it was a rave. So all the girls were wearing like tank tops with no bra. You really had to be like, no, I can't even look over there. Like, you just like, it was just immediate. It's like, oh, hey, oh, can you test this? It's like, oh, whoa, oh, all right, I'm gonna look away now. Like, and it was just like, so that was my like initial like thought. I was like, oh, well, this guy's just here for the hot chicks, like everybody else. But then thinking about it more, I was like, it's kind of weird. Like, how do you have so much like extra cash to like do this? And like the flyer printout thing, and it was like a national organization that was set up through the internet. Because like I never heard of that in New York. I never heard of like the Party Smart crew like going to a rave and doing brave Boy Scout stuff or whatever. But anyway, I mean, there was a bunch of other funny things that happened. Like, you know, one time someone came in and it was this chick and she was with her boyfriend, and he was like, you know, he's like 6'2", like 200 something pounds. And I was like, well, there's nothing in here. I was like, this is fake. And he was like, oh yeah, that's fake. He just like, you know, like pounded his like fist into his palm, and he's like, I'm going back in there to find the guy. You know, I was like, uh-oh. Because people were paying like $25 per pop for those things. I was like, oh my gosh, man. I just never was like, that's too much for me. So he was like, oh yeah, it's fake. And I mean, some people, there was like another person, and I was like, oh, this has heroin in it. And they were like, oh yeah, that's awesome. I was like, what? And it was just kind of stuff like that, where people were just like funny rave people, you know. Everybody's not a bad person at the rave. They're just, you know, they're rave people, whatever. But that was pretty much what I did. And it was beneficial. It's just that I didn't stay there long enough or whatever, because I was only there for 1 year. Because like probably around like the 6-month mark, you know, of doing that and then actually getting to like know people, which is another reason why you should never move. You know, after like, then I started to know people, and then I started getting invited to like the after party, and I ended up doing like a couple like DJ gigs at like after parties, and people were like, oh man, I like this, some good tunes and stuff. So it would have worked out. It probably would have been pretty beneficial actually to like be in that organization. And because I was like, I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I was just the vice president, because he was like the manager or the president of the organization, and I was like his main assistant. And so I mean, when I left, he was like sad. he was like, you're leaving? He was like, because like all the other people in the organization, they didn't do anything. They just sat there, joked around, and you know, did a bunch of like drugs and stuff. I mean, I'm sure they were connected. That's what it seemed like to me. Like they knew everybody and they knew who was who and what was what and stuff. And so that's why they were kind of important. But he was like, you're leaving, man? I was like, yeah, man, it sucks. He was like, damn, I don't have anybody to help me do it. Because, you know, I mean, it's not like I'm like the best person in the world, but I mean, I showed up every time, I was never late to like to like him meeting me, and you know, I always said the disclaimer every single time, and I always helped him carry stuff and you know, help him do the like fill out the sheets and all that other stuff. So he was kind of like, damn, man, it sucks. I was like, yeah, it does suck. But yeah, that was pretty much what I did there. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, at the time, I mean, that was probably the best thing that you could do, because people, I mean, according to the news reports and according to him, you know, people were getting the GHB thing and they were passing out, having heat stroke and possibly dying. So, I mean, it makes sense because obviously the cops were there watching us and they didn't stop us. So they were obviously worried about people passing out from heat stroke too. Now, whether it was true or not, or if that was just a cover story to get the Los Alamos lab scientist into the rave to test all the rave pills, now that's another question. Because it's like, you know, bro, like, where'd you get all that? Like, seriously, like, he had like boxes and boxes of these flyers where it would just tell you the effects, the pros and cons basically of each drug, and they had every drug. I don't know if they had DMT, but it was like ecstasy, coke, weed, nitrous, heroin. Did they have mushrooms? I think they had mushrooms, LSD, stuff like that. But that was pretty much what it was, though. I wonder if they had it in other places too, because I never did it anywhere else. But it's definitely an interesting question, because if you watch like Sean Atwood, and then he's talking about how he was like this big time drug dealer out there at the time. It's like maybe that's how they were trying to track people down or something. Who knows? Who knows? Because he was taking notes, like detailed notes of every pill and whether it was or it wasn't and what was the print on it. And he didn't do any drugs, and he was a scientist. So it does call into question whether or not that's what was going on in reality. But yeah, that's really what happened though. But I mean, New Mexico's a nice place though, really. It's kind of hot though and dry. But other than that, it's pretty nice. Like, suppose I lived in this horrible neighborhood that was so bad, like you couldn't even order like pizza delivery there. Like the Domino's pizza guy wouldn't deliver to that neighborhood, but it was fine. I mean, I used to walk around. I didn't have a car or whatever, so I would just walk down to like the main road. I forget what it was. It was like Arroyo, or I forget what it was. It was one of those main roads. I think it was Arroyo. And then I would just, you know, walk down. It was like 4 blocks down to the main road, and then I would just walk up and down that. main road. And no one ever bothered me. I mean, usually there was no one there, because I guess on the West Coast most people drive, so when you're walking around, like, nobody bothers you. I mean, that's how it was there, though. It was that, and I mean, like, we knew, like, the chief of, like, the Native Americans. I don't know if I talked about this before. It was so funny, because he was, like, this tall dude with, like, black hair, and he had, like, the leathery tan skin, and he kind of had, like, a Native American accent, because he spoke, like, languages or whatever. But he was actually, like, a white dude from Connecticut. And he was like he was like the head chief of, like, the Native Americans, like, in that area. It was just so weird. He was like, yeah, I'm like a white dude from Connecticut. But he looked Native American. I mean, he looked Native American. And he was like the chief. He was like one of their head chiefs. And they used to do, like, the peyote ceremonies, because, like, I hung out with his kids a couple times. And his kids, they were, like, my age. And they were like, yeah, we've done peyote, like, a bunch of times already. And I was like, oh, yeah? I was like, how do I get in on that? And they were like, oh, it's only, like, certain times of the year or whatever, where they do the ceremonies. So I was trying to get in, but I was like, they were like, nah, man, you're not cool enough or whatever. I don't fucking know what it was. That's how it was, though. Because, like, basically, the only reason why I went out there was because my ex got a, like, internship with some dude who was a yoga teacher, and he needed someone to take over his yoga studio while he went to India to go to that festival thing where they go in the river or whatever. It's like Indian New Year. So he was gone for, like, 6 months in India or whatever, and we just lived at his house in exchange for, I guess she was teaching yoga, which I don't understand how she got that gig. It's like, what, you just, like, take a couple yoga classes, like, and then you could, like, become a yoga instructor? It's like, yeah, I took a couple, I know how to do down facing dog. He's like, oh cool, come on out. It was funny because he was like another guy. He was from, like, Montana or something like that. He was like a white dude from Montana. So it was kind of one of those things. And then I forget what that festival's called, whatever. But it's the one where it's, like, got the Nagi bobbies or whatever in it. Those guys that all they do is, like, smoke hash and sharpen their swords all day. Like, that's what they do. They live in a cave, they smoke hash, and they sharpen their swords. And then apparently when they try to get to the river, if people are in their way, they just pull out their swords and start swinging their swords until everyone moves out of the way. But yeah, you can look that up. It's like Nagi Bobbies of India. It's kind of like a fun, interesting side note, because I never heard of that before. I was like, what? That's what they do? They smoke hash and sharpen their swords. That's all they do? It's like, yeah, that's all they do. Then when people get in their way, they start swinging the sword. They're like, yeah, they start swinging it. Sounds like a good setup to me. Now we're getting into the serious missions. What, like the FBI? The corrupt FBI agents.
Hey girl, how's life?
Davey, how you doing?
About as good as can be expected. But the news is not good.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you did that fucking jewelry job.
Davey, seriously, you're imagining things.
Fuck you.
All right. I did it. Arrest me. You know what? You'll be saving my life. Because you called it, motherfucker.
What?
You called it.
Trevor.
A couple days ago. We haven't really talked about anything either.
But if, no when, he starts asking questions about why you're not feeding worms south of the Canadian border. Oh, we got problems.
Yeah, no shit.
We're in it.
Together.
So, if your problems are my problems, then I guess that means that my problems are sort of your problems.
Nope.
What if I lose my job? Someone comes into my office, starts reading my files. They'll see the things I did. I know a lot of stuff. I can cop a plea, get 5 years, but you...
Fuck you, you ungrateful prick. I made your career.
Well, then we better go about saving it together, because you and I both know we can't let it go to shit now.
What do you need?
This guy, Ferdinand Karamov. The agency claims he's dead. We at the Bureau think they're full of crap. We think he's being debriefed someplace.
So?
Apparently, he has information which will put me and my superiors out of circulation. Those agency fuckers have got the coroner's office locked down. We need you to verify the body.
So how the hell am I gonna get in here?
Well, you've played dead before, haven't you? I have always kind of liked you. Call me when you wake up. I'll tell you what to do.
What we got?
John Doe, white male, overweight, in his late 40s, possible coroner.
Let's take a peek.
The fat deposits on his hips and abdomen suggest a fondness for bleeder burgers.
We're probably about to find one in his gut, still in its wrapper.
Right next to the bottle of scotch and pack of redwoods. See the broken capillaries around the...
Oh, Jesus! Back from the dead, motherfucker!
Come out! Hands in the air! Come on. Might be in the other room. Come on. You want to end up on the slab? Give it up!
That don't look right. Guess you can't judge a corpse by its toe tag.
Hey man. According to the left, that could definitely be a Hispanic man.
I found the toe tag. Ferdinand Karamov. It's on some big black lady. Definitely not your guy.
Okay. The agency have the lower floors on lockdown to prevent a leak. I got a guy who can cut the power to give you some help, but you'll have to get upstairs if you're gonna get out.
You're a boring...
Hey, stop! Put your hands on your head!
You ain't creative!
Make this problem go away! Jesus Christ!
What the hell? There's people behind me now.
This the way out? on the slab! What the hell? It's all a big misunderstanding!
No one comes in around.
Trust me!
Shit.
You inbred. This is fuck! Oh. I don't know what's going on here, but I want the fuck out!
Get in cover now. Prepare to
This the way out?
shit. Let him hit. Jesus Christ! I don't know what you're doing here, but you won't be doing it much longer.
Fuck.
We have to contain this facility. You fucking shit!
Why are you messing with the
Let me
shotgun?
go!
This is for the greater good.
Hey, I already died once today!
That's what they always say when they kill you. This is for the greater good.
Carry on with your business!
Damn.
I'm reloading. You are dead.
I should have stayed on the slab! It's all a big misunderstanding!
How many bullets? Let's take the fucking kill us, man. Oh yeah, you can't drink it in this game. It's- Oh, that's green thing. Is that El Camino? Yeah.
Hey, Mike. F. Hey, we need to talk. Quick. Meet me at those oil derricks just outside town, El Burro Heights. And make sure you're not tailed.
Man, that don't sound too good, homie. Look, I'm on my way.
Dave, the hell was that? You know how many spooks I just ran into?
I'm sorry. They're not nice people if that's a consolation.
What's going on?
There's a big target out there. Something in the shadows. The data algorithms are reading off the charts. Whoever finds it, the Bureau or the agency, is gonna get a big bump in funding.
Like I care about your funding. I'm out, Dave.
You're not. I need you to meet my boss. We'll meet downtown in the plaza between the FIB and the IAA buildings.
The IAA building. You fucking kidding me after the spat I just had with those agency men?
Relax. They won't be looking there. They never expect an inside job.
They never expect an inside job.
Hey, Franklin,
What's going on?
you gotta get out of town.
Man, I ain't exactly got nowhere to go.
Well, then take a trip. A long trip.
What the fuck is going on?
Things, all right? Look, you remember I told you I know people? Feds who looked after me when I retired?
You did?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I think I did. I don't know. Shit, Jesus Christ, Franklin. I got so many stories, I can't even keep them straight. I'm full of shit.
Yeah, but your full of shit got me a lot of paper. One score with you, I made more money than I ever did hustling.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm a great thief, but you know, it's the other shit that I ain't got figured out.
So what's the deal, man? What's the deal with the Bureau, man?
This clown, I mean, he's an okay guy, fucking cocksucker. We did a deal a long time ago. Didn't go quite the way it was supposed to go. Wrong guy got killed. So I had to go into kind of an informal witness protection program. He helped me, I didn't reveal secrets of his, and everything was cool. Problem started when recently I became unretired. I mean, he shows up, starts calling in favors, telling me to do shit. I mean, look, Franklin, I'm working for the fucking feds.
Oh, fuck, man.
Oh, fuck, man, yeah, and that ain't even the worst part. I ever tell you about Trevor?
Man, I think so, shit.
Well, if you only think so, then I wasn't being completely honest. He's, I don't, hell walking on earth. That's what he is.
Well, let's bury this motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, good luck with that.
Shit.
I mean, Trevor and I got history. Complicated fucking history. Look, I've done a lot of things that I ain't proud of. Okay, I never claimed to be an angel. But you meet Trevor, Franklin, you'll swear I am an angel.
So what's the mood then, man?
I don't know. Look, I'm just gonna, you know, try to play both sides. You know, until I can find a way out of this shit.
All right, man, look, man, you help me. Way I see it, man, the least I can do is help you.
It's a death sentence, Franklin.
Man, I ain't trying to hear all that shit, man. If the Bureau ain't gonna take you to court, them motherfuckers just hustlers anyway. And I ain't finna let no motherfucking cat think he's so motherfucking crazy, run me up a tree. Fuck that.
Hey, you're a good kid, Franklin. This means a lot to me. Like I told you, I'm a terrific thief. I'll find something for you. Big. Now, come on. You better take off.
All right, man, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Take a dip in the ocean of nostalgia.
This is Los Santos Rock Radio.
Weasel News.
The State Department says leak about leak is a lie.
An attack on the set of Fame or Shame has its host fleeing the scene.
Is Los Santos close to getting a football team and becoming a real city?
Venture capitalists to buy out struggling family motor company.
The commercials are the funniest part of the game.
Yesterday to deny the veracity of a leaked report about nuclear waste spillages across our ocean floors. Sheila Hall is live.
I'm at the scene. Let's hear what State Department spokesman Jim Donovan had to say.
These are the kind of malicious lies and rumors that stop people from respecting their government. They are typical of the internet, which is why we are thinking of shutting it down. I mean, does anyone think it's credible that the government would lie to them about something serious?
Does anyone think the government would lie to them? No, there's no way. They would never do that. The government would never lie.
Wow. You really are the spitting image of my older brother. Good to see you. Take your time. I want you to be happy with it. Find a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life.